guys, you got legal questions, and we got guys who can answer them. It is the Sidebar with our friends Dan Del Rio and Chuck Caraway. Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for being with us.
Morning.
Okay, so first topic of discussion, this story we had up in Heavenly where the woman was stuck in a gondola overnight. You guys are now representing this woman. We should put that out there. So lay out the legal ramifications here.
It's a really interesting case. I mean, what's come of it so far in the investigation is that she's in it for about 15 hours. So it's towards the end of the day. They're about to close down the mountain. She basically tells the ski patrol that, hey, I'm exhausted. I don't think I can make it down the mountain. So they escort her to the gondola and put her on. While she's then on the ride down, they shut off the gondola, and she is now trapped up there. She has no light, no cell phone, no ability to communicate with anybody and let her know where she is. She attempts to yell and scream until she apparently loses her voice. Nobody can hear her up there. So she ends up staying up there the entire night, freezing. I think it gets down, they said, to about 23 degrees that night. And they end up going ahead and they essentially get her off the next morning when they finally turn on the gondolas and realize what's occurred.
Yeah.
So the problem here is very obviously there's got to be protocol and procedures to know that your gondolas are free and clear of any passengers at the time. And their COO has come forward from Heavenly and admitted that there was a failure and a breakdown in the process. So it's an unfortunate event for her. You know, luckily it wasn't worse, but she absolutely, you know, was terrified overnight, freezing up there, unable to reach anybody.
Okay, I want to talk about another story of somebody being trapped here locally. A disabled man lives like on the 4th floor of his apartment building. The elevator goes down. The management says they can't get the part to fix it. And this man's now stuck in the 4th floor of his building. It's one of those things where it seems like, to me, when I first heard the story, is like, well, if the fact that they can't get the part, if they can't get the part, what do you do? But what are the legal ramifications of that?
So it's a good question because you're exactly right. Like, you have one elevator, and the ADA says you have to have that elevator so that you have people with disabilities or other special needs that need to go down and use that elevator. They can get out if there's something like a fire, or just for things like getting groceries. But obviously, it's reasonable that that elevator is going to go down. And so what the ADA has said is you have to fix it within a reasonable period of time. In this particular case, it's unfortunate because apparently the elevator's old and the only place they can get the part is in New York. So the ADA also says, look, sometimes that might happen, and what you should be doing in that case is reasonable accommodation. Put the people that need to get out on the lower floor, make sure that they have groceries and things like that, and also compensate their rent where they're not getting the same services because obviously they can't have ingress and egress from their own apartment.
Another issue affecting a lot of people are these Philips CPAP machines, folks that have sleep apnea. I'm one of them. You got to wear these things at night to help you breathe. Apparently a bunch of them have been recalled. There have been deaths linked to it as well. With a case that big, where do the legal ramifications even begin?
So the difficulty with a case like this is, one, they've already been through multiple recalls. They recalled the Dream stations back in. They were retrofitted, new parts. Some of them were still recalled a second time and had problems after that, and that's where they got to this final settlement that they're doing right now. This essentially came out like a mass tort. Anybody who qualifies, who has it for the right period of time, the right serial numbers that are in the recall group, can go ahead onto the website, register, and they are viable for or eligible for certain credits, financial compensation, new machines, things like that. The difficulty is, of course, the ones that are more serious where there's actually harm that's occurred.
Yeah.
Because when these things fail, the person starts breathing in gases and foam and bits of material that are breaking down inside the machine. Yeah. So that has serious repercussions.
So I guess would that be considered a class action suit that people could join if you? Yeah,
it's a similar idea. Mass tort. The only difference with a mass tort and a class action is in a class action, one person is chosen to be the head.
Yeah.
They basically act as the lawsuit for everyone else in the class. In a mass tort, each person still has their own individual lawsuit, but they can negotiate as a group.
I see. All right, Dan Del Rio, Chuck Caraway, thank you so much. We appreciate your expertise, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.